Maybe you clicked this video because you are carrying something inside your heart that nobody else knows about. Maybe you smile in front of people, you talk normally, you continue with your daily life, but deep inside there is a battle that only Allah knows. There are struggles you cannot explain, pain you cannot put into words, and questions that keep coming back when you are alone. You may look strong to everyone around you, but only you know the weight you are carrying. There are moments when a person sits quietly at night, looking at the ceiling, thinking about everything that has happened. The worries become louder when the world becomes silent. You start asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Why did Allah allow this difficulty in my life? Why am I going through something that feels so heavy? These questions come from a heart that is tired, a heart that is searching for understanding, a heart that wants relief. Sometimes the hardest struggles are the ones that nobody can see. It could be a broken heart, financial difficulties, family problems, loneliness, fear about the future, or a dream that did not happen the way you expected. People may see your outside, but Allah sees your inside. People may only know your words, but Allah knows every silent tear that fell when nobody was watching. And when difficulties come, the human heart naturally starts wondering if it is a sign that Allah is angry with us or that we have been forgotten. We sometimes look at our problems and think, why is my life becoming harder? But a believer understands that every situation has a wisdom behind it. Not every difficulty is a punishment. Sometimes the very thing that hurts you is the thing that brings you back to Allah. There are times when Allah removes something from our life because He knows it was harming us. There are times when Allah delays something because He knows we are not ready for it. There are times when Allah closes a door because He is preparing a better door that we cannot see yet. Our vision is limited, but Allah's knowledge has no limits. Imagine a child who does not understand why a doctor gives him a painful injection. The child only sees the pain, but the parent sees the protection. The child thinks, why is this happening to me? But the parent knows that this temporary pain is connected to something greater. In the same way, we may only see the difficulty in front of us, but Allah sees the entire picture of our life. Allah reminds us in the Quran, perhaps you dislike something which is good for you, and perhaps you like something which is bad for you. Allah knows, and you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-216. This verse is a powerful reminder that our feelings do not always reveal the reality of our situation. Something we hate today may become the reason we grow tomorrow. Something we cry over today may become the reason we become stronger, wiser, and closer to Allah. Think about the moments in your life when something did not happen the way you wanted. Maybe you lost an opportunity you desperately wanted. Maybe someone walked away from your life. Never believe that your struggle means Allah has abandoned you. Sometimes the greatest transformations happen during the hardest seasons. A seed must be buried before it becomes a beautiful tree. A heart sometimes must experience hardship before it truly understands the mercy, power, and love of Allah. Your pain is not hidden from Allah. Your tears are not wasted. Your prayers are not ignored. Every moment you are struggling is known by the one who created your heart. Trust that Allah is writing a story for you that is greater than what you can currently understand. Maybe this video reached you at this exact moment because your heart needed this reminder. The problem you are facing today may not be destroying you, it may be preparing you. Sometimes the hardest part of a difficult situation is not the problem itself. The hardest part is not knowing why it is happening. When something hurts us, our minds search for answers. We want to understand the reason behind every pain, every delay, every disappointment. We want to know why Allah allowed this chapter of our life to happen. But sometimes Allah does not immediately give us the explanation because He wants us to learn something greater first. Trust. Trusting Allah does not mean that you will never feel sadness. It does not mean that you will never cry or feel overwhelmed. Even the greatest people chosen by Allah experienced moments of deep pain. The prophets faced trials that were far greater than what many of us will ever experience. Yet their hearts remained connected to Allah because they understood that a difficult moment does not mean Allah has left you. Look at the story of Prophet Yaqub. He experienced a pain that no parent wants to experience. He lost his beloved son Yusuf and carried that sadness for many years. His heart was broken, his eyes became filled with tears, but even in his grief, he did not turn away from Allah. He said, I only complain of my suffering and my grief to Allah. Surah Yusuf 12-86. This is a lesson for every person who is hurting. It is okay to feel pain. It is okay to admit that something is difficult. But the place where you take your pain matters. Some people carry their pain alone until it destroys them. Some people complain to the world but forget the one who controls everything. But the believer takes that pain to Allah. When you cry in your room and nobody knows, Allah knows. When you make dua with a broken voice, Allah hears. When you feel like nobody understands what you are going through, remember that Allah understands your heart better than you understand yourself. Sometimes Allah allows us to experience moments where we feel weak because He wants us to realize that our true strength does not. So if you are facing something today that feels too heavy, remember this: Allah did not bring you to this moment without a reason. The same Allah who allowed the test is the one who can bring ease after it. The same Allah who knows your struggle is the one who has the power to change your situation in a way you never expected. Maybe you are currently standing in a chapter that you do not understand. Maybe you are looking at your life and wondering how anything good can come from this pain. But remember, you are reading only one page of your story. Allah has already written the entire book. What feels like a delay may actually be protection. What feels like an ending may actually be a new beginning. What feels like a loss may actually be Allah making space for something better. So hold on to Allah. Keep making dua even when you feel tired. Keep praying even when your heart feels heavy. Keep believing even when the path ahead looks unclear. Because the one who controls the future is the same one who is holding your heart right now. There is a question that many people ask when they are going through hardship: why did Allah allow this to happen to me? It is a question that comes from a heart that is tired, a heart that is searching for meaning behind the pain. When life becomes difficult, we often look at the problem itself, but we forget to look at the one who allowed it to happen. We focus on the storm, but we forget that Allah is the one who controls the wind, the waves, and the entire journey. The truth is that every test Allah sends carries wisdom, even when we cannot see it immediately. Allah is Al-Hakim, the most wise. Nothing happens randomly. Every delay, every difficulty, every closed door, and every unexpected change is already known by Allah. What feels confusing to us is never confusing to Him. What feels like chaos to us is part of a perfect plan that Allah has written with complete knowledge. Sometimes we think that a comfortable life is always a sign of Allah's love, and a difficult life means Allah has turned away from us. But this is not always true. Some of the most beloved servants of Allah faced the greatest trials. The prophets were tested, the righteous were tested, and the people closest to Allah experienced moments of pain and difficulty. Prophet Ibrahim was tested when he was commanded to leave his family in a barren land. Prophet Yusuf was separated from his father, betrayed by his own brothers, and imprisoned despite being innocent. Prophet Ayyub lost his health, his wealth, and many blessings he once had. Yet these trials did not mean Allah abandoned them. These trials were raising their ranks and showing the strength of their faith. Sometimes Allah tests you because He wants to remove something from your heart that is preventing you from getting closer to Him. A person may depend too much on people, on wealth, on success, or on their own plans. Then Allah allows a situation where those things cannot help anymore, so the heart learns the only true source of strength, Allah. Think about gold. Gold is valuable, but before it becomes pure, it goes through intense heat. The fire does not destroy the gold, it removes what does not belong there. In a similar way, difficulties can purify the heart. They remove arrogance, they remove unnecessary attachments, and they teach us patience, gratitude. Your hardship may be teaching you patience that you never knew you had. It may be building a strength inside you that comfort could never create. It may be preparing you for a responsibility, a blessing, or a future that requires a stronger version of yourself. Sometimes we ask Allah, why did you take this away from me? But maybe one day you will look back and say, Ya Allah, now I understand why you protected me from that. There are things we cry over today that we will thank Allah for tomorrow. A person who loses something they loved may feel broken, but Allah may be saving them from a future pain they cannot imagine. A person who faces rejection may feel worthless, but Allah may be redirecting them towards something better. A person who experiences delay may think the dua is ignored, but Allah may be preparing the perfect time for its answer. Remember, Allah's timing is always perfect. We are limited by what we see today, but Allah sees yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We see one moment, Allah sees the entire journey. So when a difficulty enters your life, do not immediately ask, why me? Instead, ask, what is Allah teaching me through this? How can this bring me closer to Him? How can I become a better servant because of this experience? Because sometimes the greatest blessings do not arrive wrapped in happiness. Sometimes they arrive disguised as struggles. Sometimes the thing that makes you cry at night becomes the thing that changes your heart forever. Your test has a purpose. Your pain has meaning. Your struggle is seen by Allah. The same Allah who placed you in this situation has the power to bring you out of it with a heart that is stronger, softer, and closer to Him. Never forget, Allah does not test you because He wants to destroy you. He tests you because He knows what you can become. One of the most painful experiences in life is losing something that your heart was deeply attached to. Sometimes it is a person you loved. Sometimes it is a dream you worked years to achieve. Sometimes it is a job, an opportunity, a relationship, or a plan that you thought would finally bring you happiness. When Allah removes something from your life, the heart naturally feels pain. You wonder why something you wanted so badly was taken away. You wonder why Allah allowed a door to close when you were hoping it would open. In those moments, it is easy to focus only on what you lost. Your mind keeps replaying memories. Your heart keeps saying, if only things were different. You imagine how life could have been if that person stayed, if that opportunity worked out, or if that dream became reality. But sometimes we become so attached to what we wanted that we forget something important. Allah knows what we do not know. The same Allah who gave you something has the wisdom to take it away. And when Allah removes something, it is never because He lacks mercy. It is never because He does not care about your pain. Sometimes Allah removes things because He knows they were not good for your future, even though they felt good for your present. Imagine a small child holding a sharp object. The child loves it because they do not understand the danger. When the parent takes it away, the child may cry and become upset. The child thinks something precious was taken from them, but the parent knows they are protecting them. The child sees the removal as a loss, but the parent sees it as love. Many times, we are like that child. We hold on to things because we only see their beauty, their comfort, and their immediate happiness. But Allah sees what is hidden. He sees what would happen tomorrow. He sees the harm we cannot see. He sees the roads that would lead us away from peace. Sometimes Allah closes a door because He heard a prayer Sometimes your, is a difficult situation you cannot escape. Sometimes your prison is a chapter of life that feels impossible. But if Allah is writing your story, then no hardship can prevent the destination He has chosen for you. There may be something you lost that you still think about today. Maybe you still ask why Allah took it away. Maybe you still feel the emptiness it left behind. But remember, Allah does not remove something without wisdom. Even if you do not understand the reason today, trust that the one who created your heart knows what your heart truly needs. The problem is that we often judge Allah's decisions while standing in the middle of the story. We see one painful chapter and assume the entire book is ruined. But Allah has not shown you the next pages yet. The chapter that feels painful today may become the chapter you thank Allah for tomorrow. Sometimes the thing Allah removes creates space for something better. A closed door can lead you toward a better path. A broken relationship can lead you toward a healthier one. A lost opportunity can push you toward a blessing you never imagined. But before Allah replaces something, He often teaches the heart to let go. Because sometimes the greatest thing Allah wants to give you is not another blessing outside of you, but a stronger heart inside you. A heart attached only to Allah cannot be destroyed by the loss of anything in this world. When your happiness depends completely on people, possessions, or achievements, every loss feels like the end. But when your heart depends on Allah, you understand that everything belongs to Him and everything returns to Him. The believer says, Ya Allah, if you took something away from me, then you know why. If you closed a door, then I trust your wisdom. If you delayed something, then I trust your timing. This does not mean you will never feel sadness. Even the Prophet experienced sadness. It means that behind the sadness, there is faith. Behind the tears, there is trust. Behind the loss, there is the belief that Allah's plan is always greater than your own. Maybe today you are mourning something that left your life. Maybe you are asking Allah why it happened. But remember this, what Allah takes away is never greater than what Allah can replace. Allah can replace a loss with peace. He can replace sadness with strength. He can replace confusion with guidance. He can replace a closed door with a path that brings you closer to Him. So do not only look at what left your hands. Look at the one who is holding your heart. Because when Allah removes something from your life, He is not removing His mercy. Sometimes He is making room for a blessing that your eyes have not yet seen. There are moments in life when we look at our pain and only see what it has taken away from us. We see the tears, the struggles, the disappointment, and the difficulties. We see the nights when we could not sleep, the moments when our hearts felt heavy, and the times when we wondered how we would continue. But sometimes, behind the pain that we see, Allah is creating blessings that we cannot see. Pain has a way of changing a person. It reaches places inside the heart that comfort never touches. When everything is easy, we may not realize how much we need Allah. We may become attached to our plans, our abilities, and the things around us. But when life becomes difficult, the heart begins to recognize its true dependence on Allah. Sometimes a hardship is not sent to break your heart, it is sent to soften it. A heart that has never experienced difficulty may become careless. It may forget the feelings of those who are struggling. But a heart that has tasted pain becomes more compassionate, more understanding, and more grateful for the blessings it once overlooked. Think about how a person changes after going through a difficult season. Someone who has experienced loneliness becomes someone who notices lonely people. Someone who has experienced sadness becomes someone who comforts others. A person may spend years chasing something they think will complete them. They believe, when I get this, I will finally be happy. But when Allah allows them to lose it, they discover that true peace was never inside that thing. True peace was always found in their relationship with Allah. Allah reminds us, verily, in the remembrance of Allah the hearts find rest. Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. Notice that Allah does not say hearts find complete peace in wealth, popularity, success, or the approval of people. These things may bring temporary happiness, but the heart was created to be connected to its creator. Sometimes Allah removes distractions so that your heart can return to Him. Sometimes He takes away what you depend on so you can discover the one who never leaves you. Look at the story of Prophet Yunus. He was surrounded by darkness, the darkness of the night, the darkness of the sea, and the darkness inside the belly of the whale. From a human perspective, there seemed to be no way out. But in that moment, when every worldly door was closed, he turned to Allah. He called out, "There is no deity except you, exalted are you. Indeed, I have been of the wrongdoers." Surah Al-Anbiya 21-87. And Allah responded. Allah brought him out of that darkness. This story teaches us that no situation is too difficult for Allah. No place is too far for Allah's mercy to reach you. No darkness is too deep when you turn back to Him. Maybe you are experiencing your own belly of the whale right now. Maybe you feel trapped in a situation you cannot change. Maybe you feel surrounded by problems from every direction. But remember, the same Allah who heard Prophet Yunus hears you today. Your hardship is not proof that Allah has forgotten you. Sometimes your hardship is the place where Allah wants you to discover Him. Think about the rain. When rain falls, the ground may become dark and muddy. From the outside, it may look unpleasant. But beneath that ground, seeds are receiving what they need to grow. The same rain that creates difficulty for some moments becomes the reason flowers appear later. Your struggles can be like that rain. They may create a difficult season, but Allah can use them to grow patience, faith, wisdom, and strength inside your heart. Many people ask Allah for a stronger faith, but they do not realize that stronger faith is often built through challenges. You cannot learn patience without something testing your patience. You cannot learn true trust without moments where you have no choice but to rely on Allah. The hardship you are facing may be developing qualities in you that comfort could never produce. It may be teaching you humility. It may be teaching you gratitude. It may be teaching you to appreciate small blessings that you once ignored. A person who has experienced hardship often looks at simple things differently. A peaceful morning becomes a blessing. A family gathering becomes a blessing. A healthy body becomes a blessing. A moment of calm becomes a blessing. Pain can open your eyes to blessings that were always there. And remember, Allah does not waste the suffering of His servants. Every tear you cried is known. Every moment you remain patient is recorded. Every time you chose faith instead of giving up, Allah saw it. The world may not recognize your struggle. People may never understand how difficult your journey has been. But Allah knows every detail. He knows the battles you fought silently. He knows the strength it took to keep going. So do not only ask, "Why am I suffering?" Also ask, "What is Allah building inside me through this?" Because sometimes Allah is not changing your situation first. Sometimes He is changing you first. The person who enters a hardship is not always the same person who comes out of it. With Allah's help, you can come out stronger, wiser, more grateful, and closer to Him. Your pain has a purpose. Your tears have meaning. Your struggle is not wasted. The same Allah who allowed the difficulty is preparing something beautiful through it. There are moments when a person reaches a point where they feel tired of being tested. They look at their life and think, "How much more can I handle?" They see one difficulty after another, one disappointment after another, and they begin to wonder if they have the strength to continue. The heart becomes exhausted, and the mind starts asking questions that come from deep pain. Why are my problems not ending? Why does every step feel so difficult? Ya Allah, when will this become easier? If you have ever felt this way, remember that Allah knows the weight of what you carry. He knows your limits better than you know yourself. He knows the moments when you feel strong and the moments when you feel like breaking. He knows the tears you hide from people and the prayers you whisper when nobody is around. Sometimes we look at our tests and compare them with the tests of others. We see someone else's life and think, "Why is their journey easier than mine?" But Allah does not test every person in the same way because Allah knows every heart individually. A test that strengthens one person may not be the same test needed for another person. Allah says, Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-286. This verse is not saying that life will always feel easy. It does not mean that you will never feel overwhelmed. It means that Allah knows your capacity even when you doubt yourself. When you think, "I cannot continue," Allah knows there is still strength inside you that you have not discovered yet. Think about a mountain. A mountain becomes strong because it stands against storms, winds, and changing seasons. If it never faced pressure, it would never become what it is. In the same way, some of the strongest hearts are created through moments of difficulty. Your struggles are not evidence that you are weak. Sometimes they are evidence that Allah is preparing you for something greater. Look at the life of Prophet Muhammad. He experienced rejection, loss, sadness, and hardship. He was mocked by his own people. He lost loved ones who were close to his heart. He carried the responsibility of delivering the message of Islam while facing immense opposition. Yet he remained patient because his heart was connected to Allah. One of the most beautiful moments was during the year of sadness, when the Prophet experienced the loss of his beloved wife Khadija and his uncle Abu Talib. These were people who supported him during extremely difficult times. Losing them was painful, but Allah continued guiding him and preparing him for what was ahead. This teaches us something important. Even the most beloved people to Allah experienced sadness. Feeling pain does not mean your faith is weak. Having difficult emotions does not mean you are failing. What matters is where you turn when you feel that pain. A believer does not deny the difficulty. A believer brings the difficulty to Allah. When your heart feels heavy, say, Ya Allah, I am struggling, but I trust you. When you do not understand the situation, say, Ya Allah, I do not know the wisdom behind this, but I know you are Al-Hakim, the most wise. When you feel like you cannot continue, say, Ya Allah, give me the strength for the next step. Sometimes Allah does not remove the test immediately because He is building something inside you. A person who receives everything quickly may never learn patience. A person who never struggles may never understand the value of ease. A person who never feels lost may never experience the sweetness of being guided back to Allah. Patience does not mean that you do not feel pain. Patience means that even while feeling pain, you choose to stay connected to Allah. It means you continue praying even when your heart is tired. It means you continue making dua even when the answer has not come yet. Remember Prophet Ayyub. He lost his health, his wealth, and many blessings. Yet he did not lose hope in Allah. He turned to Allah and said, Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. Surah Al-Anbiya 21-83. Look at the beauty of this dua. Prophet Ayyub did not. Maybe today you feel like your test is too heavy. Maybe you feel like nobody understands what you are going through. But remember, the one who created your heart is the one who can strengthen your heart. Allah has brought you through every difficult day you thought you would not survive. Think about that. There were moments in the past when you thought you could not handle something, but Allah gave you strength and brought you through it. The same Allah who helped you before is still with you now. Do not measure Allah's mercy by how quickly a problem disappears. Sometimes Allah's mercy is not removing the storm immediately. Sometimes His mercy is giving you peace while the storm continues. Sometimes His mercy is protecting your faith when everything around you feels uncertain. A difficult chapter does not mean the story is over. A delayed answer does not mean Allah is ignoring you. A heavy test does not mean Allah has forgotten you. Sometimes the greatest miracles happen after the longest struggles. So if you feel tired today, take one more step. Make one more dua. Pray one more prayer. Hold on to Allah one more time. Because the test may be heavy, but the one who is carrying you through it is greater than anything you are facing. Allah is not asking you to control the entire future. He is asking you to trust Him with the next moment. And sometimes, one moment of patience can open the door to a lifetime of blessings. There is a question that often comes to the mind when life becomes difficult. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did I lose this person? Why did this opportunity disappear? Why am I facing a struggle that others around me do not seem to understand? This question is natural. When the heart is hurting, it searches for answers. When something unexpected happens, the mind tries to find a reason. But sometimes, if we remain trapped in the question of, why me, we become focused only on the pain and forget to look at the purpose behind it. Allah does not want us to only survive our hardships. He wants us to grow through them. Every test carries a lesson. Every difficulty has a message. Every painful chapter has something Allah wants to teach your heart. Instead of only asking, why did Allah allow this to happen, try asking, what is Allah teaching me through this? Because sometimes the answer is not found by looking at what was taken away from you. Sometimes the answer is found by looking at what Allah is building inside you. Maybe Allah is teaching you patience because you depended too much on immediate results. Maybe Allah is teaching you trust because you depended too much on your own plans. Maybe Allah is teaching you humility because success made you forget your need for Him. Maybe Allah is teaching you gratitude because you stopped noticing the blessings that were already around you. Every hardship has the potential to transform you. Think about a diamond. A diamond does not become valuable without pressure. The pressure that seems painful is actually part of what creates its beauty. In the same way, the difficulties you face can shape your character, strengthen your faith, and bring out qualities inside you that comfort could never develop. Sometimes we pray for qualities like patience, strength, and closeness to Allah, but we forget that these qualities are not developed only through ease. They are developed through moments where we have to rely on Allah. You cannot truly learn patience if nothing tests your patience. You cannot truly learn trust if everything always goes according to your plan. You cannot truly understand Allah's power until you experience a situation where only Allah can help you. This is why some of the hardest moments of your life can become some of the most meaningful moments of your life. Look back at your past struggles. Think about something you once thought would destroy you. A moment when you believed you could not move forward. A moment when you cried and wondered how you would survive. But you are still here. Allah carried you through what you thought you could not handle. He gave you strength when you felt weak. He opened doors when you thought every door was closed. He placed people in your life when you needed support. He gave you hope when you thought hope was gone. Sometimes we forget the miracles Allah has already given us because we are too focused on the miracle we are waiting for. The heart often remembers what it lost but forgets what Allah saved it from. We remember the door that closed but forget the doors Allah opened. We remember the person who left but forget the people Allah sent. We remember the difficulty but forget the strength Allah gave us to survive it. A believer learns to look at life differently. They understand that Allah is not only working through the moments that make them happy. Allah is also working through the moments that challenge them. Even something painful can become a path towards something beautiful. The Prophet taught us that no fatigue, illness, sadness, harm, or distress afflicts a believer except that Allah removes sins because of it. This means that even your difficult moments have value in the sight of Allah. The pain you experience is not meaningless. The tears you shed are not ignored. The patience you show when nobody sees you is known by Allah. Sometimes the hardship you hate is actually protecting your heart from something worse. Sometimes the delay you dislike is saving you from a wrong decision. Sometimes the loss you cannot understand is creating space for something better. Allah sees the entire picture. We only see one small part. Imagine reading one page from a book and deciding that the entire story is terrible. You would not do that because you know there are more pages ahead. But sometimes we judge our lives while we are still in the middle of the story. Allah is the author of your story. He knows the beginning, the middle, and the end. He knows what you need before you even ask. He knows which experiences will bring you closer to Him. So instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" say, "Ya Allah, what are you teaching me through this?" Instead of saying, "My life is falling apart," say, "Maybe Allah is rebuilding me in a way I cannot yet understand." Instead of saying, "I lost everything," remember, I still have Allah, and whoever has Allah has what truly matters. Your test is not just about what happens around you. It is about what happens inside you. Will this hardship make you closer to Allah or further away? Will it make your heart softer or harder? Will it increase your trust or weaken it? The choice of how you respond is where your transformation begins. Maybe Allah allowed this difficulty because He sees a version of you that you cannot yet see. Maybe He knows you are capable of becoming stronger, wiser, and closer to Him. So do not only look at the wound. Look at the healing Allah is creating through it. Do not only look at the struggle. Look at the person Allah is shaping because of it. Because sometimes the greatest lessons of life are hidden inside the moments we wish never happened. There are moments in life when we feel like nothing is moving forward. We make dua, we work hard, we try our best, but the situation remains the same. The door we are waiting for does not open. The answer we are hoping for does not arrive. The change we desperately want seems delayed. And in those moments, the heart starts to wonder, maybe nothing will ever change. Maybe my dreams are finished. Maybe Allah has forgotten about me. But what we often fail to understand is that Allah's delay is not rejection. Allah's silence is not abandonment. Sometimes Allah is preparing something that requires time. Sometimes the waiting period is not empty, it is where Allah is building you. A seed does not become a tree overnight. Before it rises above the ground, there is a hidden process happening beneath the surface. The seed is surrounded by darkness, but that darkness is not the end. Allah is always working behind the scenes. There are things Allah is changing inside you before He changes things around you. Before giving you a blessing, Allah may prepare your heart to carry it. Before opening a door, Allah may prepare you to walk through it. Before giving you what you asked for, Allah may remove the things that would prevent you from appreciating it. Sometimes we ask Allah for a blessing, but Allah first gives us the character needed to handle that blessing. You ask for success, but Allah teaches you patience. You ask for ease, but Allah teaches you dependence on Him. You ask for happiness, but Allah teaches you that true happiness comes from a heart connected to Him. The preparation is often hidden, but the result becomes visible. Look at Prophet Yusuf. When he was thrown into the well, nobody around him could see the future Allah had planned for him. To the people watching, it looked like a tragedy. A young boy abandoned and separated from his family. But Allah was preparing him. The well was preparing him for the palace. The loneliness was preparing him for leadership. The hardship was preparing him for a position where he would later help many people. If Allah had shown Prophet Yusuf the entire journey at the beginning, perhaps the test would have felt easier. But Allah teaches us to walk by faith, not by seeing everything. The same applies to us. We want Allah to show us the entire plan before we trust Him. We want to know exactly when the problem will end, exactly when the dua will be answered, exactly what will happen next. But faith means trusting Allah even when the next step is unclear. Allah says, "And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." Surah At-Talaq 65-3. This verse is a reminder that when you place your trust in Allah, you are not depending on an uncertain future. You are depending on the one who controls the future. People may leave, plans may change, opportunities may disappear, circumstances may become difficult, but Allah remains constant. Sometimes Allah allows you to lose control because He wants you to discover His control. We often think we need to have everything figured out. We need to know the plan, the timing, and the outcome. But Allah never asked us to control the future. He asked us to trust Him while taking the right steps. Your responsibility is effort. Allah's responsibility is the result. You plant the seed, but Allah brings the rain. You make the effort, but Allah creates the outcome. You make dua, but Allah chooses the best time and the best way to answer. Maybe you are currently in a waiting season. Maybe you are waiting for healing, waiting for financial ease, waiting for a relationship to be repaired, waiting for a dream to become reality. Do not think that waiting means Allah is ignoring you. Sometimes waiting is where the greatest preparation happens. A person who receives everything immediately may not have the wisdom to appreciate it. But a person who waits, struggles, and remains patient develops a heart that recognizes the value of the blessing when it arrives. The difficulty you are experiencing today may be preparing you for a blessing you are not ready for yet. Allah may be removing your impatience. Allah may be strengthening your faith. Allah may be teaching you lessons that will help you later in life. Do not compare your journey with someone else's. Everyone has a different path written by Allah. Some people receive quickly because that is their test. Others wait longer because Allah is preparing something different for them. A delayed blessing is still a blessing. Remember, Allah created the universe with perfect timing. The sun does not rise before its appointed time. The seasons do not change before their appointed time. The child does not grow before their appointed time. So why do we think Allah's plan for our lives would be anything less than perfect? Your story is not behind schedule. Your life is not forgotten. Your dreams are not ignored. Allah knows exactly where you are. He knows exactly what you need. One of the heaviest burdens a person can carry is a heart that refuses to let go of the past. Sometimes the pain is not only from what happened, but from constantly reliving what happened. A person may continue carrying the words someone said, the betrayal they experienced, the disappointment they faced, or the loss they never accepted. The heart keeps asking, why did they do this to me? Why did Allah allow this to happen? Why did I have to go through this pain? And while these questions are understandable, holding on to them for too long can slowly exhaust the soul. Allah never created your heart to carry endless bitterness. He created your heart to know Him, to find peace through Him, and to experience the freedom that comes when you trust His wisdom. Sometimes healing begins when you understand that forgiveness is not saying what happened was okay. Forgiveness does not mean you ignore the pain. It does not mean you allow someone to continue harming you. Forgiveness means you choose not to let the pain control your heart anymore. When you forgive, you are not freeing the person who hurt you. You are freeing yourself. Many people carry anger because they feel that letting go means they are accepting injustice. But remember, Allah is Al-Adl, the most just. Nothing escapes His knowledge. Every tear, every hurt, every moment of sadness is known by Allah. You do not have to carry the responsibility of making everything right. Allah sees what happened. Allah knows what was hidden. Allah knows the truth even when people misunderstand you. Sometimes we want justice immediately. We want people to realize what they did. We want them to feel the pain they caused. But when you place your trust in Allah, you understand that the ultimate justice does not depend on people. It depends on Allah. The Quran teaches us, let them pardon and overlook. Would you not love that Allah should forgive you? Surah An-Nur 24:22. This verse reminds us that forgiveness is connected to our own relationship with Allah. We all hope for Allah's forgiveness for our mistakes, our weaknesses, and our shortcomings. So when we forgive others for the sake of Allah, we open a door of mercy for ourselves. But forgiveness is a journey. Sometimes the heart needs time. Sometimes the wound is deep. Sometimes you have to ask Allah repeatedly to remove the heaviness inside you. Say, Ya Allah, I cannot forget what happened, but help me heal from it. Say, Ya Allah, remove the anger from my heart and replace it with peace. Say, Ya Allah, give me the strength to forgive because I want my heart to be closer to you. Allah does not ask you to pretend that pain never existed. He asks you to trust Him with that pain. Look at Prophet Yusuf. After everything his brothers did to him, after being thrown into a well and separated from his family, he eventually had the power to take revenge. He had authority. He had the opportunity to punish those who had wronged him. But he chose forgiveness. He said, "No blame will there be upon you today. Allah will forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." Surah Yusuf 12-92. This was not weakness. This was the strength of a heart that had healed through Allah. A wounded heart that is connected to Allah becomes stronger than the pain it experienced. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. You may still be carrying regret from your own mistakes. You may replay the past and think, why did I do that? Why did I make that choice? How could I have been so careless? But remember, Allah's mercy is greater than your mistakes. The pain you experienced can either become a prison that keeps you trapped or a lesson that brings you closer to Allah. Choose healing, choose forgiveness, choose peace, not because the person who hurt you deserves it, but because your heart deserves freedom. Remember, Allah is not asking you to forget the lesson. He is asking you to release the burden. The people who hurt you may have taken a moment of your happiness, but do not allow them to take years of your peace. Give your pain to Allah. Give your unanswered questions to Allah. Give your broken heart to Allah. Because the one who knows every wound is also the one who can heal every wound. And when Allah heals a heart, He does not only remove the pain. He replaces it with something greater, closeness to Him, wisdom, strength, and a peace that no person can take away. There is a truth about this life that every heart needs to remember. This world was never meant to be permanent. No matter how beautiful something is, no matter how much we love something, everything in this dunya has an ending. People change, situations change, happiness comes and goes, difficult moments pass, and even the best moments eventually become memories. Many times, our pain becomes heavier because we expect this world to give us something it was never created to give us, complete and permanent happiness. We expect people to never disappoint us. We expect plans to always work out. We expect our health, wealth, and circumstances to always remain the same. But Allah created this life as a journey, not a final destination. The heart feels restless because it is searching for an eternal home in a temporary world. Think about a traveler who stops under a tree for a short rest before continuing the journey. A wise traveler does not build a permanent house under that tree because they know they are only passing through. They enjoy the shade, they benefit from the rest, but they do not forget that they have somewhere else to go. This is how a believer views the dunya. We appreciate the blessings Allah gives us. We enjoy the moments of happiness. We love our families, our achievements, and the good things Allah places in our lives. But we never forget that the greatest destination is not here. The Prophet taught us to live in this world like a traveler. This does not mean we abandon the dunya or stop working for success. It means our hearts are not chained to temporary things. When we understand that this world is temporary, our perspective changes. A loss that once felt impossible becomes easier to carry because we know nothing here lasts forever. A hardship that feels endless becomes lighter because we know every difficulty has an end. A disappointment that breaks our heart becomes something we can overcome because we know Allah has prepared something greater. Allah reminds us, know that the life of this world is only play and amusement, adornment and boasting among yourselves, and competition in increase of wealth and children. Surah Al-Hadid 57-20. Allah is not telling us that the blessings of this world have no value. He is reminding us not to mistake temporary things for eternal things. The problem begins when we make dunya the center of our hearts. When a person believes their happiness depends completely on a person, a position, money, or a certain outcome, they become fragile. Because anything temporary can disappear. Maybe you are facing a battle that nobody knows about, but remember, Allah knows every tear, every fear, and every silent prayer. Your pain is not the end of your story. Allah can turn your hardship into strength and your sadness into peace. Trust His plan, because He is preparing something better than what you can see. Ya Allah, heal every broken heart, remove every worry, and fill our hearts with peace and faith. Help us trust Your wisdom even when we do not understand. Remember, Allah is always near, and He never forgets His servants. If this reminder touched your heart, share it and subscribe for more reminders.